D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So I got done watching Star Trek Discovery, episode 2 of season 4. And before I get started, I want to say two things. One, I'm really sorry that this episode is late. I'm with the holiday season here in America, Thanksgiving and everything. It was just hard for me. I have so much stuff. I have like a list of crap I need to finish because I got behind because I would took 2 days off of doing stuff. And I just have a whole bunch of stuff and everything. So that is though, I'm sorry, this one's like 2 days too late, but whatever. I'm going to put it out there anyways, because I watched this episode and I have thoughts. Second thing I want to say is that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine always get pushed to the back of the line. So I please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. So why don't we go ahead and get started? And I just want to say this episode was not very good. Okay. And I know you're all like, oh, of course you didn't like it. But listen, the problem with this new Star Trek is, okay, so what I love most about, and my level of fandom is I only watch the TV shows, the movies, and then I've read like a handful of comic books and everything, but I've never read any of the books. And, I've never done anything else outside of just the movies and the TV shows. But the one thing that I've always felt that was kind of like, really great was continuity. They always kept up with the continuity, except for this new Star Trek. Ever since was it 2009 when J.J. Abrams took over? Hey, J.J. Abrams, he is the worst science fiction writer ever. But anyways, but ever since that whole new Star Trek started coming out, I just felt like continuity wise, they have not kept up with anything. And Discovery, they had the opportunity to do something new, but they went to the past and then they keep trying to change things. And I'm all like, Daddy's not interested in that. And I thought them going into the future that they would do better. And again, I've said this before, when it comes to this show, Season 1, I liked Season 1. Season 2, I liked Season 2. I didn't think it was good as Season 1, but I liked Season 2. And then Season 3 came out, but then I found out that they had stole a lot of their stuff from a video game or an online computer game from someone for that tardigrade storyline, and then the characters. And somebody tried to argue with me, listen, they stole stuff, and I do not like that. Do not steal, create, okay? And they did. They stole stuff. If you go and look into it, I don't want to get too much into it because CBS is crazy about striking people and stuff, and I don't want to deal with that nonsense. But go look it up. They stole from that man, and they're that's horrible. Don't do that. Anyways, but this show, I felt like I don't feel like they're capturing the relationships between the characters. Yeah, there's relationships, but it's not the same thing. And continuity wise, I don't know what they're doing. Like I'm just like, what's going on? And I have thoughts on this. All right, so that's what I have on that. And so why don't we go ahead and get started on breaking down this video. I have notes and everything, and I have a lot of stuff I have a lot of stuff I want to talk about. This episode, this show really just it fucks my shit up like hardcore. Anyways, okay, so we start out with like visions of birds from what Book is seeing. He's just basically dealing with his post-traumatic stress and everything. And Michael Burnham's there, and she's like, I'm here, whatever you need, kind of thing. And he's just like, you need to go, kind of thing, because she gets a comm message or whatnot, and he's like, just go and everything. So she leaves. And Saru's there, and she's like, hey, Saru, and everything. She's like, I missed you, my homie G, and everything. And he's all like, were there any survivors from Quajon? And she's all like, we're looking into seeing if any other Quajans besides, but right now Book's the only one that we know survived that destruction of that planet, but they're looking to see if anybody else was off world when it was destroyed. And then just the fact that she's trying to be there for him, but he hasn't left his ship in 2 days, and that she's trying to get him to emote in some way, shape, or form because she knows that he's in pain, but he hasn't cried, he hasn't shown any kind of emotion. And he says that if loss has taught us anything, each of us must sit with pain in our own way, which is absolutely true. If you if you're sitting there, everybody's got to deal with their own way. Everybody deals with loss and stuff like that in their own way. So then she notices this little pin on his vest right here. And she says something about isn't that the Kelpian symbol for community? And he says, it's the Kelpian symbol for community and service, and that it signifies his status as a council member in his village, which is nice, but who cares? And that he was also, and then she's like, I heard you were offered the command, on the Sojourner. I wrote it down, but it was a weird name I think it's that Voyager class starship that they were talking about in the last episode that the president was considering Burnham for, but then just like completely didn't. But he said that he was interested. I'm paraphrasing, by the way, because I didn't write down exactly what he said, but he said he was interested in it. But Discovery was where he needed to be, kind of thing. And then he also said that in his time as captain, he had Burnham stay on as his number one because she was a second pair of eyes on a situation. So he was hoping that she would keep him on as a second pair of eyes as her number one. So then she, accepts and everything, of course, because Saru's a good character. I feel like ever since season 1, they haven't utilized Saru in the best way, in my personal opinion. But what are you going to do? So we go over to the space station, and the Federation has gotten together with the Vulcan / Romulans. I can't remember what their new name is called. And they're sitting here talking about what's going on. And they've determined that the anomaly is 5 light years across. And they're not certain what it is, but their theory is that it is a roaming binary black hole, which is 2 black holes merging to create a gravitational waves in the process. Yeah, I wrote down some shit. Jesus, is this so like, I'm all like, oh, whatever. So this, and then Book comes in and everything, and everybody notices him. Oh, I didn't get a good still of him. But he's all like, no, go ahead, do what you got to do. And then they're talking about like, the president right over here, she was like, why was Quajon destroyed and not the space station? And they talk about how it would compared to, it's because of where they were compared to the impact. The closer they were, the bigger the impact. So it's obvious that Quajon was closer than than the thing. And when they said this, I was all like, maybe this is a special needs child crying out to the universe, like in season 3. Man, was the burn such a big letdown. I don't know if you were let down by that, but oh man, it was so stupid. They had so many options and they chose that as that was the burn. Oh man, I'll tell you right now, I read some theories about what the burn could have been, and they were 10 times better than what they decided to do. So they go through it and they talk about where they think it's going to be next, right? Sorry, I'm putting a little chapstick on. And I can't remember the system that they think it's going to be, but the president's like, maybe we need to start evacuating now. And then they also start talking about the president of the Romulan / Vulcan starts talking about how they need to prepare for people, being like, what was, I didn't write down what she had said, but she said something about like, oh, panic, if people were going to panic. And they were like, we have started, processes for that kind of thing post burn. And so they ask, where is it going to go next and everything. And everybody starts, that's when she starts doing it. And everyone, and then they start playing this track, and you can totally tell not everybody's talking at the same time. They're just playing like a dub over where everybody starts asking questions at the same time. It's quite obnoxious, but a couple of people get through, and this is their Ferengi. Isn't that the ugliest Ferengi you've ever seen? Like I hear they have to do everything 30% different than the original Star Trek, because then that's how they get away with it, like with, copyright stuff. Anyways, looks ridiculous. So they just start figuring out that they need to start working on this kind of thing. So then we go over to Tilly and Saru, and they're walking through this thing, and she's talking about she's like, did you get taller. It was so stupid. Her taller talk. She's like, maybe it's just swagger. That's a compliment. Oh, fuck you, Tilly. Shut up. And then he's like, I'm sorry to hear about you. And he's like, I missed you too. But then he's like, I'm sorry to hear about your situation on the space station from last episode and how that one guy died. I didn't write down his name. Who cares? And she's like, it was pretty bad. I've been thinking about how like life can just, go away in the blink of an eye kind of thing. And basically how life is precious. So then we get back onto the bridge. And this crew member right here, that is Owosakun. I don't know how you say it. Joanne. That's her name. Joanne. I don't know how to say her last name, but who cares? Anyways, the bridge crew is so uninteresting. Sorry, I kind of got a little off there. The bridge crew is so uninteresting, in my opinion. They are just straight up uninteresting. Anyways, so then she's all like, welcome back, Captain. He's all like, well, I'm not really a captain. And then she's all like, maybe we could call you Mr. Saru. Oh, he's like, you can just call me Saru. And she's like, Mr. Saru. And he's like, that seems acceptable. So then she gets on the intercom and she's all like, Bryce, patch me through to the crew and everything. And she gives her speech. Okay. And this is the speech that she gives. Discovery. Today we seek to understand a threat that our galaxy has faced like none before. Maybe it's a special needs child. Anyways, I'm gonna bring that up because it was the dumbest resolution of a storyline ever. Okay, before we know the cost of its destructive power all too well. We lost colleagues, friends, and Quajon. Countless lives, histories, futures. We won't let their deaths be in vain, and we are going to make damn sure nothing like this happens again. Not on our watch. Not on our watch. Black alert. And I just wanted to be all like, Sweet Pea, listen, I get the whole, I'm a captain, strong, independent woman kind of thing going on, but how are you going to stop it? Okay. If it decides to happen again, how are you going to stop the destruction of a planet? Please explain to me. Oh, you can't because your writers are stupid. Anyways. So then, after that speech, sorry, this was all during the speech. So then they black alert over to the thing. And then she goes, can I get a polarizing spectrographic filter? And it makes everything blue. And everybody's like, oh. And I was all like, it just made it blue. Now, I just want to say real quick, and it'll get to the end of this. But as soon as I saw this picture, I was like, oh, it looks like a giant eye. I swear to God, if this is like the eye of God or whatever they're trying to do, it'd be super annoying. But it just made everything blue. And I was like, everybody's like, oh my goodness, what's that? And I'm like, it's just blue. Get out of here with your nonsense. So they're sitting there. And they're going through all this stuff, and they bring on Stamets, and he's like curiouser and curiouser. And she's like, can I get a more scientific explanation? And he's all like, and they go through and explain it really, but I didn't write it all down because it's kind of sciencey or whatnot. But they try to talk about how they're going to go into it, and they can't bring Discovery into it because it takes them into the yellow zone. But they talk about how they're going to send those little dots, those little robots or whatever, those people robots that came alive last season, and was all like, we're going to help you, Captain. And this, hold on, Lieutenant Nilsson is all like, they're too small, they won't be able to get through the dust cloud or whatnot. So he's like, I can go, I'll take my ship and go, and I can change my ship because it's stupid like that to deal with the torque and everything. And she's all like, can I speak with you? She takes him into her ready room, and she's all like, she's basically like, are you ready for this? Because you don't seem like you're ready. And he's all like, yo, I'm long story short, he's like, I'm going to do this whether you give me permission or not, because I'm not Federation and you're not my captain. That's my ship. I'm going. And if you were in my position, you would go too. And she's like, and she's basically like, listen, you have to put yourself in my shoes. I'm the captain here. What do you want me to do? Kind of thing. So then we switch over to the worst actors on this show. And I want to say something real quick. Someone had commented on the last video, the breakdown that I did for episode 1 of this season. And if I'm sorry I don't mention you out loud, you should get credit for your comments. But they said something along the lines of, you should be supportive of LGBT actors because of the representation. And I just want to say, I do think that representation is important, but I am not going to support bad acting. And these two right here, this character, Trey, I don't remember who, I don't even care. That's how much I do. I know I even wrote down the bridge characters because that person was like, you should write down the character's name. I wrote their names down, but I'll tell you right now, this is the only, and somebody else commented about this. This is the only Star Trek show where I literally cannot remember the bridge crew's name because they're so uninteresting and so forgettable. So these two are sitting here, these bad actors. This person right here, Adrina. I'm gonna call her Adrina because I don't care what her name is. So they're talking about his new body. So he's gonna get a new body. I don't like this idea. It's really annoying and boring. This character, I don't even know why this character is here anymore. Talking to his old girlfriend, person friend. I don't know how that works with a non-binary person, but he's sitting there talking about how he's all like, it's so crazy. And so they're sitting there talking about how he feels a little bit guilty getting a new body. And they also talk about like, will it work kind of thing? Will he get old? And this person, Adrina, she's all like, they are all like, so Trey is like, will I get old? And Adrina is all like, he wants to know if he's gonna get, gray hairs and the pot belly. Doing very bad acting, by the way. Both these two characters are these two right here, him and they are both bad actors all the way around. They need to take some classes. If they can be on the show and act, I can be on the show and act. I'll tell you that right now. And I'll tell you right now, they got them on wholesale. I said it last episode, they got them on wholesale. I'll bet you anything they pay them in Target gift cards because that's how cheap they were. That's why they cast them. So after they are all like, they want to know if they're going to get a pot belly and a double chin, which is what they have. And he's all like, that's not what I said, sister, and everything. But he's all like, this has been done before. I believe it was done on somebody called Captain or Lieutenant or Admiral Picard. And I go, don't do that shit. Picard is somebody that's in the history books, asshole. So you should know his name. Speak his name. Don't sit there and be like, it was on somebody named Picard. Get out of here with that nonsense. That's what annoys me about this show. They're so annoying. Anyways. So he's all like, can I get rid of that mole? And they're all like, he wants to know if he can get rid of the mole. And they're also talking about how, like, because his personality changed because of the symbiote went from him to them. And so they're saying like, this hasn't worked every time, but it'll probably work because your personality has already switched once. So it'll probably work for the second time. Okay, so then Burnham is sitting here and she's, worried about Book, which is 100% totally understandable. And she's in a holodeck in her office, whatever. So Saru comes in and they leave here and they're sitting there talking about Book basically. And hold on, I wrote it down. And then Saru, and they're talking about Book and how he's got to deal with this himself kind of thing. And she's wondering if she should let him go because the captain in her says he's the best person for the job, but the girlfriend in her says he's not ready. And he basically says, you got to do what you think is best. So then they're talking to Stamets about going on to the ship with Book, and they're going to use a holo for him. So he's basically like a hologram because that's what a holo is. And then they're going to use a tether to connect to the ship so they can keep them, focused, their ship focused, not them specifically. And then he goes in here and he's all like, he wants me to help Book out, but I don't even know how to do that on a good day. And he's all like, listen, what did you tell people when I, died? And he went to the Spore universe, and he's all like, that's completely different. And he's like, listen, grief is grief. And everybody moves through it differently. And I thought that that was correct. The things they say in this show are correct. It's just how they did. Like I literally don't feel like how I feel when I watch older Star Trek. It's not the same, and the writing is not as good. I'll tell you that right now. So he gets on here, tries to pet the cat, and he's like, "Don't do that. She doesn't like you, or whatever," and everything. I want to say right now, the actor that plays Book, I don't remember his name, and I didn't write it in my notes, but I do enjoy him as an actor. He is very good. I enjoy, and so is Stamets here. They pick some good people. They just have bad writing on the show. So anyway, so they send them out and they go through here and they're moving through this thing and they're collecting all this data. And he's getting visions of his nephew because he sees these birds, which they're not really there, but he sees them because he's obviously going through some post-traumatic distress order. And then this wave hits them and then they're like floating in the air. And Captain Burnham is doing this the whole time. Like every time she goes up, she does this. And I go, what is that? She's like Peter Pan in a stage play, just like flopping all around. So stupid. And then this little thing puffs up some fire or whatever, and then everybody lands on the ground and everything. So it sends that wave through them. Oh, it's so it's just so dumb. Okay. Sorry. Okay. I got a little too happy about that. I literally laughed at like that when I saw it because I was like, what is she doing with her hands? It's like she's obviously, hold on, let's go back to that picture. I was like, it's very obvious she's on strings and she's like, what do I do to make it look like I'm the gravity is gone? I'll just move my hands like this. She does it twice. So good. Okay. So then they send Tilly out of the room to figure out what that was and when it's going to happen again. And it was some kind of a wave or whatever that got rid of their gravity. And yeah, so then they're going through the thing, they're collecting data, but they need more time. That's their biggest thing. And so they're sitting here and they're trying, the doctor is trying to heal everybody because apparently them slamming onto the ground like that really hurt everybody, like hardcore. And then Adrina is all like, she's trying to figure out, but Tilly's like, no, you don't get to do that. We triple check and we double check and triple check our work. Cause she tried to like, be like, yeah, I did the science, sister. And she's like, no. We need to double check our work because, lives are at stake kind of thing. And he's all like, he's like, hey, she's just trying to, or they're just trying to, I think he said she, and they're non-binary. So we say they. So he's like, they're just trying to protect or to impress you. And Tilly is all like, yeah, I know. And then Adrina is all like, yeah, I just checked. This is when it's going to happen next. And so she runs in, Tilly runs in and she's all like, Captain, and she's like, good news, we figured out when it's going to happen. Bad news, it's going to happen 2 seconds. And then everybody, she's like, brace for impact. And nobody braces for impact because it happens so suddenly and they're all up in the air again. Look at them just, they just attached wires on them. It's so stupid. And then she's doing this thing again. She's doing this. It's so dumb. So then they're all, so then Bryce, he comes up with something here. I can't remember, and I didn't write it down in my notes. I should have wrote it down, but Bryce comes up with something here, and they realize, so he is seeing his nephew, like he's straight up seeing him, and she's all like, "Is he okay?" And the doctor is all like, "There's no way from here that I can tell if he's, delusional or if he's good to go. I can't tell you what's happening with him," kind of thing. And so they decide, so he tells them, you got to break the tether. We're just going to have to do this. So they break the tether and they get out of because they can only handle that shock wave that gets them gravity wire flying, Peter Pan flying. They can only handle, if it happens again, their gravity is gone throughout the entire ship. And they don't know if the hull is going to be able to handle it. So then they zap this thing back in, and this has all the information on it, but they can't. So he's on a hollow, but he tells Book, he's like, you can just zoom back now. He's like, he's basically saying like, you go back. If I die, who cares, kind of thing. And Stamets tells him, I can't go back because I can't transfer back to the ship And neither can the information. So we got to survive this kind of thing. And I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember. I didn't write down exactly what they said. So he's trying to, fix everything on this little thing and get all the information ready. And he's trying to talk to Book in a sympathetic way to try to connect with him so he can get him through this kind of thing. So then this is when Bryce comes up with something, and that's Detmer. And he is seeing his nephew. So she's like, give me I think it's Bryce that comes up with the kite flying, because he talks about how riding those shock waves is kind of like kite flying, I believe. And she's like, great, that's perfect. So she's like, give me a one-on-one connection with Book. And she starts talking, and she's like, listen, I get it. You're going through something right now that I can't fix it, but I can be here for you. And I thought that was, like I said, they say a lot of good stuff. It's just the way they put about it, because I didn't feel anything when watching this episode, but what they were saying, I was like, that's good advice, but you're not selling it to me. So maybe it's more the acting, it's the writing. The writing is bad, because besides these good small moments, right? Like this, everything with Book and Burnham right now is good writing in the sense that it's good advice, but everything else is just crap. Anyways, so she's all like, so they missed the first one. That's not when they do the one-on-one. Sorry, I messed up. Sorry, I was at the wrong spot. They missed the first one. So they have one more shot after this. And that's when Burnham he sees his nephew, and she's like, give me the one-on-one. And that's when she's like, hey, listen, you can do this. I'm here for you, yada, yada, yada. Sorry, I'm saying yada, yada, yadas, but I already just said everything they said. And so then they're ready to go, and they get through. Okay. They ride that shock wave out. And he's all like, hey, you did a good job, kind of thing. Yeah, I don't remember. Okay. Sorry. I didn't write that down in my notes. I should have, but I didn't. So then after all that said and done, Tilly is talking to the doctor, and she's talking to him, and she's all like, hey, after that space station incident, I could really use somebody to talk to, tell my feelings to, and to help me get through that kind of thing. It's obvious that she has some post-traumatic distress over that whole situation. And who wouldn't? You can't go through something traumatic like that. I know this is all fake and everything, but in the real world, if you go something through that and somebody eventually dies because of it, you obviously do have something, most people do. And so she just needs a therapist. And a lot of the times in the real world, people just go to therapists to deal with that whole thing. And he's like, yeah, anytime you need me. So then Adrina goes back to her bunk, and she sees Trey. I don't remember Trey's name. I don't care. These two suck. And they're all like, when you get your new body, I'm happy for you, but it just kept bringing up with the space station situation where people died. It made me think back to when you died, and I don't want that to happen again. And he's all like, I get it, but I'm, we have to take that kind of chance. I don't remember what he says. It doesn't matter, because I was like, can we please hurry it up? These two's acting is atrocious. Target gift cards, that's what they pay them in. Like they each get like 25, 25 each of the gift cards. Yeah. When they probably have like $100 on them each, Target's nice, it's like the rich people's Walmart. Anyways, so then Burnham is talking to Book, and he talks about his nephew and how he was estranged from his people until he got back with his brother, and his nephew had such a bright future, kind of thing, and they all died, and he should have seen that by the way that the birds flew up in the air. And she's all like, you couldn't have known that. You couldn't have known that the planet was going to get destroyed like that. There's no way you could have known. And there's nothing you could have done. So let me go back to Saru. He's on the bridge, and he's looking at this blue stuff that they all were. Oh my God, blue stuff. So stupid. God, this show. If you just get one person that knows their Star Trek in the writer's room for this show, I promise you it'll go a long way. So Tilly comes in, and she's all like, hey, we, all the information we got back. This was what it was before when we got there. And this is what it was after. And he's like, it changed directions. And he's like, we gathered this information so we could see where it was going to go to next. Or we could try to figure out where it's going to go to next. And she's like, that's the thing. I don't know where it's going to go to next. And she's like, right now it could go anywhere. We have no idea where it's going to go. And I don't remember what else he says after that. But then we zoom out and it's a giant eye. It's just a big giant eye. And that's what I thought it looked like when we first got there. I thought it looked like a giant eye. It kind of reminds me of the Eye of Odin, if any of you are interested in that kind of thing. But that's what it kind of reminded me of. So, but yeah, it's just a giant eye. And I have no idea what it is. Like I said before, I don't trust this show to do anything spectacular. I'm pretty sure it'll just be another autistic kid. This one's probably like an autistic kid not getting his way, and like a Q, an autistic Q not getting their way, and so they're just gonna create an eye and destroy a couple planets because they're all upset. Over God, this show it's just not good, you guys. I wish it was. It's just not good. I really wish it was. That's the problem with this show. I just don't like it. I'm trying to like it, but I don't know if I can and everything. Picard's coming up. Like out of all the shows, I only cover the live action shows, but they've got Lower Decks, which is bad, and Prodigy is awful. And I'm pretty sure what's that new one with the Enterprise, but they couldn't call it Enterprise because they already had a show called Star Trek Enterprise. Strange New Worlds. I'm pretty sure that'll be bad. I'll cover that too. But yeah, what's they're called? Secret Hideout sucks. Alex Kurtzman sucks. J.J. Abrams sucks. They're all bad science fiction writers. I'm telling you right now, I don't sit here and act like I'm a genius or anything, but I could write better than this. I know you're like, if you can, why don't you do it? Listen, I would, but what am I going to do? Just sit here and type on my computer? Nothing's going to come of it. It's just going to stay on my computer. And then people are like, well, if you don't like it, why do you watch it? I watch it because it's the funniest thing on TV right now. Why can I not watch it? Plus, it's Star Trek. I have to watch Star Trek. I can't not watch Star Trek. All right, you guys, those are my thoughts on this episode. Tell me, what did you guys think about this episode? Did you like this episode? If you did, please tell me why you like this episode. What was your favorite part about this episode? What do you think this anomaly is, this big eye anomaly? What do you think it is? Yeah, just tell me, because I don't know, and I'm not even gonna put out any theories because this show knows how to really screw crap up. All right. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys next week on time for my Star Trek Discovery breakdown and review. You guys have a good week. Live long and prosper. Bye.